With on live. We live. I thought I told you we're going live, but I had my mic muted. Sorry about that. Let me hit up that we're going live. Also, where the people are. Introduce yourself, Whip. Chapter 104054, eh?
Yes. This is the Weep Sheriff, aka Infinite Rhizome, aka Blue Rhizome. Yeah, finally back after how many years was it?
Don't ask. Was nightmarish.
Oh yeah, and a lot happened this chapter. Too much even, if you ask me.
But the, after a break, you either go big or go home, right?
Yeah, but I would have preferred if we just stuck to one story, like the aftermath of uh, Green Bull. Um, you know that we wrap this up and then go to what's happening in the rest of the world. So now we have to wait another week to see how it ends.
Yeah. Surprising chunks is Antoine.
And he's still finding an excuse to not meet Luffy.
Uh huh. I mean, I think Oda didn't want him to meet Green
Green Bull?
Green
Why?
because if he met Green he would have eviscerated him and called it a day. If Shanks said, I'm going to meet Luffy, and he is on his way to meet Luffy, and he finds Green what do you think he's gonna do to Green
Yeah, but I don't think that was his consideration. I mean, I don't even know if he knows that Green Bull is on Wano because he's going rogue and is
Stop
on his
that.
own.
Stop Tekken. But that's the thing. I never said Shanks knew. I said Oda. Oda. This is move. This is by Oda, not Shanks himself.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Cause there is zero reason unless Shanks is so fixated on going after the One Piece, which again he reiterates that. Um, I see no reason why him not going meet Luffy, cause Luffy is strong enough. He is a Yonko. He is Shanks' equal, whether people want to admit it or not.
Yeah,
So
I'd say the reason is probably much more that he's now seeing him as a rival, maybe, and that's why he's not gonna uh,
so what?
meet him officially.
So then, uh, why not do this as follow? Why not have instead of Green Ball interrupting the party? Why not have Shanks show up at what called Wano? Let me wait on people to come through because Zero is coming in 10 minutes. Um, I will just say it again then, no problem. So why not have Green Ball never show up at Wano? Instead, you have Shanks show up not alone but with whole crew on Wano, and I don't know if they know where Bartholomew is or if they captured them or whatsoever, but show up to Wano with the burnt flag, throw it to the ground, and say to Luffy, Luffy, you always wanted to meet me. You always wanted to give me the hat back. Now you're my equal. But the thing is, I'm not just some pirate. I'm going after the One Piece. And one of your so-called friend burned my flag and hung his own. If that's not a declaration of war, then I don't know what is. Prepare yourself. See you at what's called. See you at the One Piece and call it a day. What's holding Oda from doing something like this? Cause that green ball fight, I'm sorry, as much as it seems exciting and stuff like that, this dude is clearly a brat. Not only that, he clearly is not mentally stable to be able to hold a fight.
Well, I wouldn't say that. I mean, he's embodying the typical arrogance of the Marines. I think they can do whatever they want because, the
Yeah,
world
but not
government is holier than holy.
but not even Akainu was this gun-ho about it. The way that
Yeah,
is showing
yeah,
anger.
of course, but that's kind of the point. He's a fanboy of Sakazuki, and that's why
I get
he's
you, but isn't
being
Sakazuki
more street.
calm and collected? He gets angry when needed, fair point, but
The does anyone does I mean does Kizaru sound like a sane man the way he behaves? I mean, he doesn't actually behave like a normal person. I mean, all of these Marines are a bit off if you think
okay,
about
fair
it.
point, fair point. Um, Tekken, what do you think of the show, of the chapter? Let me know. I'm curious. And would you agree? Do you agree that Shanks needed to crash the party and not Grimbo? Also, how the fuck is someone like Sanji, Luffy, and Zoro not paying attention to the commotion that's happening? I'm sorry. If you have hockey, you should be able to sense it. Especially someone like Luffy, because he already showcased it that he can do it. Oh, am I missing something? Because to me, people got fixated on how amazing this chapter is, but not how logical it is. Hello? Weeb, you here?
Yeah, I'm still here. But yeah,
I'm curious about your opinion.
you that's your typical overthinking there. I don't think it's illogical, but more like maybe contrived that there's seems to be there's always an excuse for Shanks to not meet Luffy, and that's getting old. I mean, he literally has absolutely no excuse. He's right there. Luffy met all the requirements, and he really his excuse. Oh, I need to respond to some punk called Bartolomeo who claims he's an ally of Luffy, he defaced your flag. That's your excuse. I mean, I'm not buying it. That either is very contrived of Oda, or there's something about Shanks that he's reluctant to meet Luffy, and yeah, maybe it's because very straightforward. He wants to get the One Piece now. That he's now at a point where okay, yeah, he didn't think Luffy would actually get there, and that's why he now has to take him seriously. Uh, Maybe other things change that made him think, okay, now's the time to get the One Piece, or there's something else. And yeah, I know you're going to go with your theory that Shanks is evil. I personally don't believe that, but you you do you.
Okay, but what about what I said about what's happening with the fight? How it's illogical of the people with Hanky, and especially someone like Luffy, not to notice anything, especially when you have foresight. We've seen it with Katakuri. He was capable of knowing what's gonna happen before it happened, and it was not like he was fighting anyone. He was simply aware of his surroundings. Luffy has shown that he is aware of his surroundings. So
Yeah, okay, but dude, it's not that's straightforward because A, you don't know what the distance is that ability works, so you don't know where they are. And look, you know how it's going to work because at some point they're probably going to be overwhelmed by Green Bull, and then Luffy shows up like, "Oh, hey, I heard you're looking for me, right?" And then he's going to beat the shit out of him.
so clearly, so he's a Logia. Okay, interesting. He is a plant Logia, I guess. He kinda remind me with Robin, the way he did that uh, um fist move. Other than that, he he clearly seemed to have a few screw loose. No, excuse me. Uh, 1K screw loose. Cause it's interesting. I didn't expect him to be like that. You hear Green Ball, you hear he fast, you hear this, you hear that. This dude is a fanboy. This is basically Bartholomew 2.0, but if he worships the world government instead of Luffy. Right?
Yep. Well, he worships Sakazuki, right? That's I think his
He
thing.
worships Suzuki, but he also worships the Celestial Dragon. You hear him. I never seen even Akaino say stuff like this about the Celestial Dragon. I don't think Akainu gives a fuck about the Celestial Dragon.
Yeah, but they're all okay with this
Yeah,
status
yeah,
quo.
yeah, yeah, but I'm talking about when you compare Akainu and Greenbow clearly a fanboy of the Celestial Dragon. He he is clearly his mindset. He is almost like a Celestial Dragon himself. I doubt it, but I would not be surprised because he is acting as one.
Well, again, I don't agree with him being a fanboy of Celestial Dragons. I think that's more the exaggerate. He's just telling it what they're actually the entire mantra is of the world government and the Marines. He's just very direct about it. He's not. mincing words. Like, yeah, I mean, this is a reality of the world of One Piece. If you're not part of the world government, you're treated as slaves. We've seen that. People are literally enslaved because they're not part of the world government. And yeah, the special directors are treated like gods, and everybody has to grovel before them.
Gotcha. Okay. Um, let's move on to Sabo. The initial leak said something about him missing an arm. I read the chapter twice now. One time when it first came out, and second time before we went on air. So I know what we're going to talk about. And none of none of it mentioned Sabo missing an arm. Am I correct or wrong?
I didn't notice it either.
Sorry?
So I did not notice that either. So I think that's bullshit.
It's yeah, that leak was bullshit. Um, so they're calling him the Flame Emperor,
Hmm.
and what's also interesting, Oda made a move. Oda made Sabo now the next dragon in this one chapter. Not only that, he actually set up for Dragon to die and Sabo to take over.
I don't know.
Because you already heard what Akainu said. They're watching him, they're worshipping him like a god, and also his reach are and he is more also more popular than Dragon. Nothing to say about that.
Well, yeah, I don't think that. I mean, it's a theory, but I don't feel like there's any basis for it
No,
to soon at that.
we're just having conversation. None of it is true. I'm separating true from a theory. When it comes to theory, I'm gonna say it's a theory. It's just we having conversation. I said what Oda set up. You can agree or disagree, and you clearly
Uh,
disagree. Do you agree or
well,
disagree?
I disagree.
Okay, disagree. Gotcha. Okay, what's your thoughts on uh, Sabo being the Flame Emperor and also more popular than Dragon?
It's interesting that one of the moves of Ace was called Flame Emperor, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
the the Dentenkai, that that fire sun something something
Yeah, exactly.
precise. Kuma is freed. We are now gonna finally find out if Vegapunk is part of the Revolutionary Army or not. Cause if the next time we see Kuma and he is Kuma again, then you know he is part of the Revolutionary Army. What do you say?
Well, they also have an inventor on their side, right? So it is not inconceivable that he will be able to do something about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the point, of course, is that they said that essentially Kuma's brain dead, right? So there's nothing in there. So yeah, indeed, if it is reversible, then yeah, then Vegapunk did something that he wasn't supposed to do. So it could be interesting that maybe he has like a message from Vegapunk to the revolutionaries, like, yeah, look, I have a plan to take down the world government or shit like that. I mean, it is interesting because there's a possibility. We know that Vegapunk isn't a scientist that's only in for research and doesn't care about the collateral damage. I mean, he clearly did care about his island, where he originated from. He wants to protect that. So it could be either that he's very thinks that the Marines are the only way to protect the world from pirates, that is motivation, or it could be that he's maybe forced by the world government to do their bidding, that he doesn't really have a choice, or he has maybe second thoughts, like said, like, hey, look, I've since found out that the world government is nuts. We need to do something.
Yeah, it's gonna go be an all-out war, but it's too early for that. I was expecting something like that after Luffy finds the One Piece. And then there is Luffy with his white hair. It's confirmed that his hair is white. It's also on the pic. Why didn't Shanks comment on that?
His
Or,
white hair.
I mean, a dude have black hair, all of a sudden he have white hair. I mean, shouldn't he at least say something about that?
Well, yeah. Here's the thing. We've also seen in the flashback where Shanks um, basically deliberately attacked the CP9 ship. He didn't care with the Gamma Goma Mi on board, and it is not inconceivable that Shanks actually knew that what its true identity was. So if that's the case, then there's a chance that he isn't surprised with this because he essentially knew that that's probably was how Luffy was going to look like if he ever awakened. Because maybe there's some sort of description somewhere about Joy Boy, right? How he looked like, and that's why he wasn't surprised.
It's, oh, hmm. So, what's your thoughts of the chapter?
Well, like I said, I hoped that we would get some more resolution about what's going to happen with Green Bull. So I would have preferred if we didn't jump to basically all over the place and just focus on wrapping up the imminent threat and then learn about what's happening in the rest of the world. Because now we have to wait another chapter or more to find out how is this going to end.
Okay, I understand, but set that aside. What's your thoughts on what happened from the chapter?
Um, yeah, I mean I expected that Sabo was still alive. I mean, I never bought that theory that he was dead. I mean, that made no sense to me. I also have I, I also don't believe that Sabo killed Cobra. I
Oh,
think
yeah,
that's
that's
some
common sense.
yeah. I mean it's quite obvious that what's his name?
Reap.
Uh, yeah. I mean, he clearly is behind that. And I'm not sure. I mean, we'll have to see if he actually died or not. If Evie definitely is now with Sabo, he probably saved her, and yeah, I don't know. Maybe she's now with the revolutionaries, wants revenge or something. I know, but yeah, I don't know if Cobra. I mean, I think Cobra might be dead purely because of how they sort of foreshadowed it in a way, not by what Eames said, but more like because he grew old, he grew weaker, and kind of feels like you're essentially telling us, okay, yeah, he's dying, or his days are numbered. So I say that's a possibility that he might actually have died, and Vivi might have supposed to have died too, because that would mean the end of the lineage. And Sabo saved her, and now he's keeping her safe.
Let me ask you this then. Where is Vivi?
With Sabo,
No.
what
I,
do you think?
I think that's what I don't want us to think. But I believe Aim took her.
Mm, possible, but I like to think that she's with Sabo purely because they couldn't frame him if he wasn't say in the neighborhood, right? If he was their aim was obviously getting Kuma back, so he had no interest in assassinating King, but they could have used the chaos to assassinate Cobra, and they wanted to also do that with Vivi, and he saved her. I think that's at least that's my theory, because I mean, her kidnapping, what purpose would that serve? Because they clearly wanted to punish Cobra. They wanted, because he was asking many questions, and getting rid of Vivi would also mean that they essentially get rid of the entire bloodline of Cobra, and they could put whoever they want on the throne, or they could let the country descend into chaos. Um, it is possible, but I do find it a bit of a cliche that Vivi is kidnapped and hell. What then? Because do you think that Luffy is going to come and rescue her? Because I'd say that the Luffy is going to go if this is really the final. It is the final arc. He can go all over the place and go to Joa and rescue Vivi and I mean, I, again, I'm not discounting the possibility, but I'd say, I don't feel like it's at this point we don't really need Vivi to become another damsel in distress. I'd say I think it's far more. It would be a better story if she was actually with Sabo and become part of the revolutionaries and maybe part of the driving force that's going to overthrow the government, because that would be interesting, because then she actually had a meaningful role to play, uh, rather than waiting to be rescued. She might be actually going to be part of the movement that's going to topple the world government.
Interesting. We still not have zero. What the hell? Okay, so let's count the stuff that happened. Akainu is going to a war. Um, Green Ball is a lunatic. No one's happy is available apparently. I'm not gonna stand down when someone comes to that. That's horrible, to say the least. Um, Sabo growing and his image is growing also. Kuma escaping. They introduced a new dude. He almost seems like from the intelligence agency. Let me look up what his status is. You seen him, right?
Yeah,
Let
he didn't
me look up
didn't
his.
leave an impression though, so I'm not sure if he really wanted to play.
So, are we expecting someone to die from the scabbers?
Nope, because we already had somebody die from the scabbards, so I don't think we'll see more death.
Mm, yeah, so I am there. So, Navy Admiral Affairs Unit Chief Kuroma Tensei. Nice to meet you. So he exists. I don't think he's gonna be at a, well, he's gonna be maybe someone, I don't know. Um, I'm curious if they're gonna make him fight or something like that. Mm, what other thing happened to the chapter? I think that was it. It was okay. So how was the read? Quick or it took you a while?
I mean, when I read One Piece, it goes very quickly.
And you read it multiple times or just one time?
I only read it one time today.
Mm. Okay. Um. So let me pull up the news that we got today because we got a few. Not today, this week because we got a few. So breaking. Ishiro Oda confirms in an interview he planned to end One Piece in 3 years. Then the elaboration added. Oda mentioned that 3 years is indeed his goal, but also mentioned in the interview that he recognized he hasn't he has been pretty off so far in the past, so he is not exactly sure how long it will take. Here is a translation of Oda's exact words courtesy of Wall Street Journal manga. Oda, I'm not sure how many years it will take. I have answered this question so many times already. I have lost credibility. I don't think I should answer. Hey, smart on him. That's called what's called uh, character growth. I shouldn't really say this out loud because so far I've been pretty up, but as of now, it's a 3 year goal. No chance in hell. But you never really know. Character move a bit a lot. Character move a lot. We're all navigators. I don't believe this. Impossible. Cause there's someone saying it here. So here's one saying is I honestly have no idea how I could wrap up the series in a satisfying way in less than 300 chapters, 400 chapters. If everything is rushed, condensed, I'm not really sure it can live up to his hope for the ending. Just look at Game of Thrones season 8.
Oh no, you didn't.
Sorry?
I said, oh no, you didn't.
I didn't. He did. I'm just reading a comment. This is not going to be done in 3 years. I'm sorry. If he's truly gonna do it in 3 years, then be prepared to be disappointed.
Yeah, like I said, I think it's more likely to be 5 years than 3.
5 to 8.
8 is that would be a lot of 3. 8 is really a long time. I say 5 is reasonable.
I think
And
somebody
I was literally fucking
joined.
to
I did.
say,
Hello, good
Hello.
people.
where is everyone? I was literally about to utter that word. I'm pretty sure Jibo is fucking asleep or at work, but he told me he's gonna make it, so there's that. Fucking Zero, you're here. My man, how are you? What do you think of his chapter?
I am well. I am well. Hope everybody else is doing well. I thought it was it's an awesome chapter. Like a lot of stuff got covered in uh, or just a lot of stuff got covered. And it's exciting, I guess, now to see, at least according to Oda, like this is where One Piece starts officially. Everything else was just, I guess, intro filler. So that's cool. So I think it's cool. I like the new. He's an admiral, right, or vice admiral.
Admiral.
He's an admiral.
Yeah.
Which like I still every once in a while Oda makes a fruit and I'm a little confused by it because like he's the forest fruit. So is there a
Mm-hmm.
person with just a tree fruit? Or like, and I guess we've have they don't no. I think only in the movie have
No.
we seen a water fruit. But like it's like I have the water fruit, but like do you have the river fruit or the ocean fruit or the stream fruit? It was a weird choice. Like because I thought it's probably be flowers, but it's just the forest. I was like, well, a forest is a
Well,
collection of things.
well, that's technically Robin's fruit, right? The Hana Hana no Mi. So
I guess yeah, right. I guess that is technically that.
yeah, but I mean, you shouldn't be bothered too much by the naming of the fruits because it's basically just whatever sounds good because it has to be short and uh, it sounds good if you repeat it. That's
Yeah,
essentially yeah.
yeah, and you know it's a petty thing, and I'm not held up on it. I just find it kind of funny. Like a forest is a whole ecosystem, so like how does that work? Like crocodile doesn't have the desert fruit; it's the sand fruit. But otherwise, I think it's really cool. Um, I'm trying to think what else happened here. I
Oh,
mean, I
you
love that.
forgot already? So Shanks
Um,
showed up,
yeah, Shanks showed up, and he's on first. He's gonna handle
Bartholomew.
Bart. Yeah, because he's out there being a jerk.
But
And
what's your
then like,
thoughts on Shanks not showing up for Luffy?
I mean, I don't think outside of just wanting to say hi, he's like, I have other things to do. Um, because I feel like at any point in time, Shanks can just if he wants to see Luffy, he can go see Luffy. It ain't like nobody's gonna stop him.
But it makes no sense because he said it from beginning that when you become a great pirate, I'm going to what's called um them come see me. And he is a great pirate, like whether we wanna admit it, we wanna accept it or not. Luffy now is on par with Shanks when it comes to status. We don't know him
True, but
power wise,
But
But
arguably, he'd be considered a great pirate after he escaped out of Impel Down, or
yeah, but
after he
with this one, he is literally a status as what's called um
he's a Yonko.
Yonko. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can't get any higher than a Yonko. So you promise to meet someone when he is on your level. He is on your level. So why you
Mm,
not meeting him?
well, no, he said he promised to meet him when he's a great pirate, which
Yeah,
is up in the air. That had nothing to do. I don't know if that has to do specifically with like when you're as strong as me or when we are as equals. Because I mean, I don't know if we don't know anything about Shanks. I don't actually know if he's equal to Shanks yet.
but is he not
Um,
a great pirate? Luffy, is he not a great pirate right now?
he is, and Shanks didn't say he's not meeting him. He said he's not meeting him right now.
But again, that made no sense. But I'm gonna move on from it, otherwise it's gonna be no, because it frustrates me because Oda didn't execute this one well. And let me say why. My opinion, my choice would have been don't even introduce Green Ball over here, because he clearly seemed to be busy with fighting scrubs instead of Luffy. And I'm gonna get to that, come to back to that. Um, why not have Shanks go to Wano with his crew, mind you, crash Luffy party, and throws the burnt flag on the ground next to Luffy and say, one of your dude declare a war. You want a war? It's a war. It's a race to One Piece. Call it a day.
Because you keep thinking Shanks is going to be evil, and there's no evidence so far that Shanks is going to be
I
that.
mean, I need to watch Film Red to decide.
Like, there's nothing indicating that Shanks wants a war with Luffy. Like, inevitably, anyone who's going towards the One Piece is going to come into conflict,
Yeah,
but
but
that
no.
doesn't mean it. But that doesn't mean it has to be like me
No. That move,
mean
that
about it.
move, that move. I was not saying it in an evil way. No, just normal competition. You want, but your friend did burn my flag. So if it was anyone else, I would have killed him. But because it's you, I'm gonna let it slide. But
But he's
instead,
but he's but he's not letting it slide as far as we know. He's going to go handle it.
we don't know what he's gonna do though. Is he gonna kill
We don't.
Bartholomew?
But like what he said was, this dude's messing with our flag. We can't let that stand. Like, I've been a Yonko far too long to
Yeah.
let that sit. So I'm gonna go handle this. Because remember, Luffy reluctantly has this giant army. He didn't particularly set out to do this. These are people
So
who joined under him, not the other way around.
yeah, but if Luffy find out Bartholomew is in trouble, don't you think he's gonna drop everything and go back to him?
Maybe, maybe not. Again, Luffy reluctantly has these people. He might not even
While
particularly remember
while
who this dude is.
while I agree with you, have you seen how Luffy treats Bartholomew? He truly respects this dude.
I mean, he respects a lot of people, but and
Yeah,
even
so
still, it still takes time for things to happen, right? Like, it's not that he can call him on the phone. So Shanks has to sail out, find Bartholomew, take him down. Word has to get out that he got taken down. Luffy has to get it wherever he is, because as far as I can tell, Wano doesn't get the news updates. So that means he's got to leave Wano, be somewhere else, get the updates, then go to Shanks to go find him. That's a pretty long time.
but I think what's called um what do you call Luffy, they have each other favorite cards, right?
Yeah, but that doesn't tell him what he's doing. That just says where he is. Like, how does Luffy know? For example, Luffy doesn't know Bartholomew's doing what he's doing.
Yeah, but Luffy have Bartholomew favorite card. So if something happens to Bartholomew favorite card, then you gotta know Luffy Luffy already made that mistake with Ace.
I mean,
If
Ace is not Bartholomew.
Yeah, but he's absolutely not gonna make that same mistake twice.
But you're also assuming that Shanks is going to kill him.
I'm not assuming anything, but I'm just saying if Bartholomew Beaver card starts to dry up, we don't know what it's gonna do with Bartholomew Shanks.
Right. I guess my thing is we know everything full circle because we're seeing everything.
Mm-hmm.
In universe, they don't, right? Like, so if Bartholomew's Vivre card, something happens to it, Luffy gets aware of it, he doesn't know that Shanks. He just knows something happened.
Yeah,
Which,
precisely.
once again, time. If we're working with time here, I could be wrong, but I don't believe Wano gets like the updated paper, so nobody's gonna know until he gets off of Wano and does
Yeah.
lands on wherever he is, and then hears the news about what's happening. Then the news has to report that Shanks did it, and that okay, Shanks did it, so now we got to go find Shanks or find Bartholomew to figure out what else happened or why did he do the thing he was doing, and then go from there. Which to me still takes some bit of time.
Yeah, but I think where we at right now, Shanks is literally at Wano. We don't know how he maneuver between places. What I mean by that is, does he have a trick up his sleeve? Is his ship really, really fast? Because this is the same dude that went in a conflict with Kaido and was able to arrive at Marineford.
Yeah, and got there quick.
Yep,
So if anything, it's possible that Shanks' ship is faster than the Mary or
precisely,
Sunny, which
precisely.
which even still makes it really hard for Luffy to catch up to him.
Yep. So
So
after the party is over, when Luffy is done and the whole commotion around the Green Ball is finished, we're gonna get up and leave, and the Sneagol is gonna drop the newspaper, and then we're gonna get the big reveal. Shanks kills Bartholomew or something like that, or or Shanks in a war with what's called the Grand Fleet. Because remember, they are not one person; they're multiple. They're a fleet. It's gonna be a wait and see period. What your thoughts as a new admiral? I'm not a fan of him. He seems to me like a lunatic. He seems to me like out of control. Not even in a good way. Maybe
uh
if you've seen it animated, maybe I will change my mind. But as of right now, I am absolutely not a fan of him.
I mean he's interesting. I think he's very close to our current fleet admiral, if you will, except he seems to have, I guess the term I could use, hierarchical justice. It's like he simply truly believes like people need to be placed in hierarchies to be managed.
Mm-hmm.
And that the celestial dragons sit above all of that, and that everybody needs to fall in line,
Mm-hmm.
um, and everybody needs to be under the fold of this. That's why when he got to Wano, he's like, if I kill you now, it won't even matter because no one recognizes you as a country. I'd be
Mm-hmm.
literally killing nothing because the only thing that matters are people who are recognized, as far as he's
Mm-hmm.
concerned. Um, so like all kind of insane, but it's a path. He doesn't certainly seem like he would be swayed in the same way some of the other admirals or vice admirals might be. He
Oh yeah,
seems to
no
have a
chance
pretty
in hell. This one needs
yeah,
to be dead.
yeah clear cut view of like how the world should work. It's
Yep.
like this is how I'm gonna do it.
He remind me with Doflamingo in a way.
He's a
Would
less fun Don Flamingo.
yeah, that's fun. Would you be surprised if he is Celestial Dragon or a Formula One? Cause he seemed to act that way.
I would be. I mean, I guess we do need a. I mean, I think it all depends on what they do with the Gorosei. Um, because they're celestial dragons, and if they never fight, because I don't know if we're ever going to see him fight or not. If they fight, then I don't think he needs to be one. If they do fight, I mean, if they don't fight, then maybe, because like it feels like Don Flamingo can't be the most powerful celestial dragon we've seen so far. It feels like there's got to be somebody who's like, because I'm still curious who runs that world. Like they operate on hierarchy too, so who's the highest level dragon?
Okay.
So I don't think he is.
Okay. So, Sabo not dead. I'm not surprised about that. I did believe he was captured, so I can all on that. He actually managed to free Kuma. So, I don't know about you, but I read spoilers ahead. The original spoilers leak had it so that Sabo lost an arm during the fight, but the full reveal doesn't seem to insinuate that. Maybe the OGs can gonna show that because this is just a fan translation. The actual translation happens in a few days, I think, at Sunday or something like that. We might have that, but as of right now, Saber didn't lose an arm. But what is interesting, and I said something, and we disagree. I said that Oda planted two seeds. He planted a seed for Dragon to die, and he planted a seed for Sabo to become the next dragon in a way. Because he said they worship him as a god, and they was called he is more popular than dragon. So what's your thoughts on Sabo as of right now?
I mean, I'm happy to see him back. I love that Sabo is one of my favorite characters.
Me too.
I'm glad that he's Flame Emperor Sabo. Like that's super awesome. He's the ace that we never got to get.
Yep.
So like he takes the place of what Ace I guess was supposed to be.
Interesting. Would you say Ace was a plot device?
Yeah, very specifically. And a lot of people die. It is what it is. But admittedly, it seems as though the death of Ace is what sort of kicked Luffy into like hyperdrive. But it also, I think, narratively, it makes sense, right? Like if this world, because the world of One Piece is so big that Luffy can't. I mean, he is at this point, but he can't be the center of it, right? So like, the Ace capture really had nothing to do with Luffy. Like they wanted Ace for a very long time, and it makes sense being the son of the Pirate King. He's got to go.
Oh wait, no. Ace capture was all about Luffy. Wait,
I disagree
Blackbeard.
with that.
No, Blackbeard wanted to go after Luffy. He even told Ace, "I'm going after Luffy. You wanna come?"
That is a side point. Ace, people wanted to capture Ace. Period.
Oh, you're talking about people. Oh no, I'm talking about.
Yeah, no, that he got captured. Sure, that was part of it.
Okay.
But like, fact of the matter is, like the entire world government wanted Ace. He was like almost person number one.
I don't think. Okay, so correct me if I'm wrong, because if Ace was never what's called what do you need his name? Fucking Roger's son. I don't think they would have executed him.
No, I mean, well, they probably would. No, they would have thrown him in jail and moved on.
Not only that, I believe they would have let him go because he is one of the Yonko.
Well, Ace isn't a Yonko. He is connected to that crew.
One of the Yonko crew. Sorry, one crew of the Yonko. A crew of the Yonko.
I know. I don't think so. Because
they would not want to risk one second, cause my battery is dead. 1 second.
I would disagree too, Omar. They wouldn't have let him go.
Yeah, like the government isn't about to let anybody go. They're like, you're a pirate, you go to jail. Like, because I feel like Ivankov is like the example of that, right? A member of the Revolutionary Army, who they know is an incredibly powerful force, who they still captured one of their top commanders, not even just any commander, one of their top commanders.
But we're also forgetting the
I'm
entire
back.
point of
Sorry about
capturing
that.
Ace. Ace wasn't just because he was Roger's son. They also wanted to take down Whitebeard. It was a trap for
To bring
Whitebeard.
Whitebeard.
So, exactly. So regardless of whether Ace was Gold Roger's son, things probably would have ended the same way. Sans the entire exposition that he was Roger's son, they would have still probably made a show of that to lure Whitebeard to them as an opportunity to take him down.
Interesting, cause uh, we what's called Whitebeard could have easily came with Shank, and it, uh, cause Shank respect Whitebeard.
But it's
Yeah,
gotta go ahead, we yeah.
you're on. Yeah, you have a distorted image of their relationship. Yes, they respected each other, but they were still rivals. They were
Yeah.
still, they could not. They would. I mean, why do you never accept Shanks and hey, come on, hey, bro, I'm gonna help you out. He would never accept that. I mean,
Mm.
you've seen that when they met, that was quite unusual. It was quite an event. I mean, the world government was trying everything they could to stop them from meeting, and it ended up with well, nothing serious, but still the
No,
fucking
nothing
sky
serious.
split it in two, right?
Just
So yeah,
just a
that's not
sky
gonna
split in
happen.
half.
Yeah, I mean that's not gonna happen. I mean, despite the fact that even if Shanks already did help Whitebeard, right? Because he stopped Kaido from interfering.
Yeah,
Hmm?
and
So
that was
that's
the help.
that.
Yeah.
So what else was he supposed to do?
This is because he stopped Kaido from interfering. I truly believe he would have helped, cause we've seen the respect Roger
But
had
but he
to.
did help. That's the point I'm trying to make. He did help
Yeah.
because if he went there with Whitebeard, then Kaido would have you know hit them from the flank. So
Yeah.
he was doing his part.
Oh,
Yeah, his butt.
interesting. So Shanks was paying attention to the chess pieces. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. But like I also think some of it is just like if you because Whitebeard would have never asked for help. That's like fact number one. He does it because like I don't need you, and because Whitebeard views most, particularly Shanks, like you're a child. I remember when you were like a little boy. Like I don't need your help. I've been doing this since before you were born, and I've been on the top of my game since long before you were even a thing. I don't need your help, young child. I got this. I'm gonna go get my son back. Where Shanks might be like, I can help you, or be like, you know what? He's not gonna ask me for my help. I'm not going to insert myself into this. I'm sure he's got it. He's Whitebeard, the strongest man on the planet right now. Everything is probably going to be fine. But I hear Kaido's on the move. Let me go handle that. That way he can just do what he needs to do to go get his son back. I don't think like there are a lot of alliances in One Piece, but I don't outside of like people who fly under each other's flag. I think it's pretty rare for two anyone's to come together and do anything. It was incredibly rare that Big Mom and Kaido came together to go do something because even they sort of have a weird kind of respect for each other, and I guess we'll figure out more about that later. But like they could have at any moment they could have come together and done whatever they wanted to do. Same with Shanks and Whitebeard. I don't think that's how they operate. There's like we do our own thing. Your goals don't run in line with my goals. I don't particularly care what you're up to. So Ace is nice. I mean, Shanks is nice, but it's like I got my own thing going on. Whitebeard will handle it. Like I'm sure he will. Just why it's a big shock that Ace did die. because he was getting free, right? Like it wasn't until Akinu put that hole in his chest. But like, to be fair, he didn't get executed. He got killed in battle, which is a little different. He was getting free, and then he didn't. And that was the only problem that happened. Which like that can just happen. Like that can just happen in any old random battle.
Omar is real quiet.
Oh, maybe we lost him.
Sorry, I had my Mac muted. Sorry about that. What's your thoughts on Sabo being more popular than Dragon?
Oh, I mean, it makes sense. I don't. I think it's at least how One Piece works. Like news travels fast. As far as we know, I don't think we know a lot of what Dragon has done. We know he's leader of Revolutionary Army. I can't really recall anything that he's done specifically. Like I guess he's helped people, but I just don't know like how. I know that he helped people on that bridge where Robin was. Um, but like Sabo is actively in the world doing a lot of things. Like first got famous on Dressrosa for getting the fruit and being like the new flame fruit user. Then he's out there. He freed Kuma while fighting two big time Navy admirals, and coming out on top. Went to the Celestial Dragon's homeworld and like blew up a couple of houses. Like that's a huge deal. Where as far as we know, I don't know if we know anything that Dragon has done. So I think it makes absolute sense that he'd be more popular because, as far as we know, has Dragon attacked the Celestial Dragons? Because as far as nobody's done that.
He is the Taurus for a reason.
Like,
We
I
don't know
know
what he's
just
done.
just what that reason is. We don't know.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm curious. So no, I think it plays right into, and it plays everything into what One Piece is doing, right? Like it is they're ushering in the new generation,
New era. Yeah.
and Sabo's a part
Okay.
of that. Dragon's definitely part of the older generation.
So, Cobra died. Killed. Sorry. Who did it and where is Vivi? Go ahead.
I'm sure the government killed him, or at least did not help him when he was going to die. Let's do it that way. Um, and Vivi's probably back on. I mean, now it's time to like step up, Vivi. So she's got a country to run. So I'm sure it hurts, and I'm sure she's sad. But I wouldn't doubt if she probably at least suspects the truth about the death of Cobra, and not just like I'm sure Luffy's brother didn't do it.
Okay.
But
Where is Vivi?
Vivi's missing officially.
Yeah, where is Vivi?
So I don't think she's back in her country.
We. I want to know what he think, and then we're gonna talk about this because I'm
No,
curious
no,
about
no.
his
I
opinion.
know, but Zero just said expects that that she's back in her country, but that's forgoing the point that that the world government thinks she's missing.
No, I missed that part. Sorry about that. Thank you. No way, Weeb. I mean, Zero. You really will expect that? I don't. Okay, so
So Vivi's missing.
it makes
Yeah.
sense because she is a leader. She needs to lead. I understand your part, but then she would not be missing. She would be in Arabasta. But
How
instead,
did
she's
I? And
missing.
I have absolutely no clue.
It can be two possibilities. I'm on number one and Weeb is number two. Me, I believe Im took her. Cause remember, he wanted her. We don't know why. Or eight, we don't know if it's in he or she, him. And number two, we if Vivi escaped and it was Xabo. But if that's the case, wouldn't the revolutionary wouldn't they have seen that and commented on it?
I mean, they don't comment on anything.
No, but they're coming on between themselves, dude.
I mean, we've not seen them talk since then.
No. I'm talking about the Marines. The Marines are talking
Yeah, but
now.
here's the thing: the Marines don't know that Cobra was assassinated by Eam. They probably don't even know who Eam is because that
No,
seems to be
I know
secret with the
I
Gorose.
I know that,
Oh, yeah.
but what I'm talking about, wouldn't they know then? If wouldn't they have seen that Sabo took? Oh no, then assassination took place. Wait,
I mean,
how did they assassinate Cobra? Okay, okay. I'm thinking about it in the sense of they were the entire time in a room gathering. I'm pretty sure they all went to their own hotel and stuff like that and slept. And because Vivi is with her father, and it's
You're really thinking too deeply about it. I
yeah,
mean, it's adorable that you're going through all the steps like that you go all Hitman 47 like okay what steps did they have to go through
no.
to
I
get the
thought
Cobra alone?
I thought
But I
maybe
don't.
he was killed during what's called uh, the fight that went on with Sabo and stuff like that.
Well,
But now that
I think they use that as cover.
that's what be
Probably
my thought.
they
Yeah.
can
probably
absolutely do that, yeah.
Probably CP0 assassinated him,
Yep.
but they used that as cover
Yeah.
to get rid of him because that was what he wanted. And I don't know if he actually wants Vivi. Maybe I have to reread that chapter, but my impression was more that he just looked at her as one of the Nefertiti or whatever her last name is uh, as one of the as Cobra's daughter,
Nafitari.
and like okay look we need to make an example of them. I didn't get that impression that he's like has some sort of plans for her, but yeah we'll have to wait and see. But like I explained, I rather see her uh, being with Sabo, that he rescued her because he uh, saw what was happening, and probably she was targeted too. And he just said, "Okay, look, I'm gonna take her with me because clearly there's something going on here. They want her dead. So if they want her dead, then we want her alive, and we need
Mm-hmm.
to find out why they want her dead. And probably he's going to she's going to become uh, a symbol of the resistance. I mean, if one of the uh, princesses of world government uh, is going to support and going to speak out against the world government, if she's going to reveal, hey, the world government killed my father, King Cobra. I mean, that's a big deal. That might be the smoking gun they need to bring down the world government. I mean, they already have, because I think we gloss over that part, but apparently, I think it was 8 kingdoms that they started a revolution in of the kings that were attending the reverie. So uh, the revolutionists. I remember talking about we've talked about this a while back, where you were saying that they're done after what Blackbeard basically attacked their home base.
Mm-hmm.
Now it looks like they're back with a vengeance because they seem to be taking over kingdom after kingdom. So it seems like the revolutionaries are back in the game
Yeah.
and dude, I mean they might be the single biggest threat right now for the world government.
Maybe this is why. Oh, look who's now showed up. Maybe this is now why um, Sabo is more popular because Sabo made the revolutionary do something. I'm pretty sure it's dragon that did this. Also, remember they also attempted to assassinate a celestial dragon. So they've been busy.
Yeah, and I mean, and like sort of like we've implied, like at the end, or flat out said for the most part, at the end of this, I think it's pretty clear that like the world government, as we understand it, is going to be fundamentally changed, and I think they're setting the stage in that in motion. And the revolutionaries are going to be sort of a big part of that change. with exposed, and you would, in order for that to happen, you need to have people who were formerly part of this world government sort of speaking out against them. The revolutionaries been speaking out against them. That hasn't changed anything. You need people who are sort of intimately familiar with it. Also, this is where Colby comes in, who are standing out and saying like, no, 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 we need to change how we're operating completely. What we have done, what we're doing, and how we're operating is wrong. The world government, as you know it, will cease to exist.
Gotcha. And before I continue the conversation, look who showed up. Weeb, I mean, Jubei. Yellow? Am I missing something? No, he's not muted.
He's just mute, so he might not be
Okay,
here.
I thought I caught him joining, so I was like, okay, okay. Um, so Kuma escaping. What do you think of that? Do you think we're gonna now see what's his name? A Vegapunk joining the fight? Do you think we're gonna finally find out where Vegapunk alliance line with?
I certainly hope so. I mean, Kuma and Frankie are the closest thing we have to like figuring out who or what Vegapunk's all about. Um, I couldn't assume. I don't have any assumptions on where his alliances are. He isn't referred to by much of the world government folks, and pirates don't seem to really care that much about him either. The only person we know he's had direct interaction with is Caesar and, and Kuma. But Kuma went, if I remember correctly, Kuma went to Vegapunk and asked him to do this thing, right? Like Vegapunk didn't capture him; he went to him. So I have
Uh,
no clue where, I don't know if he's just a weird scientist or like I have no clue what his like goals are.
mm-hmm. Okay. Um, do you expect him
Well,
to
well,
regain his memories?
Kuma, just to clarify, I think Kuma was part of the deal that he made. But yeah, it isn't entirely clear what his relationship is because yeah, why would he agree with that? Uh, yeah, he agreed to become say the prototype pacifista. Um, but yeah, I mean, it seems very reasonable to think that Vegapunk somehow that he maybe wants to get close to Vegapunk and somehow get him, uh, to join the revolutionaries or convince him, or maybe indeed he is part of the revolutionaries and is just working. Yeah, I mean, I think that part is probably too far fetched because why would he first help the world government, develop their technology? But I'd say, yeah, maybe Kuma was there to sort of try to turn him. I think that's and like I said, I expect there to be maybe if they can turn him back, that would obviously confirm that Vegapunk isn't entirely with the Marines, with the world government, or he planted some sort of directive or message, like a voicemail, where like, hey, yeah, look, this in case you capture him, this is my message. This is my location or something. Come find me, something like that.
Yeah, it's an odd thing, right? Because like a lot of the scientists who we come across in One Piece don't like they work for people, but they seem to generally just want to do science, and whoever lets them do that, that's what they do. Like Caesar, I don't think had any particularly alliance to Don Flamingo or loyalty. It was just like this dude lets me like experiment and make whatever I want to do, so this works perfectly well for me. I wonder if that's something similar to maybe Vegapunk, because I forgot he made the pacifistas, and that isn't
Mhm.
that long ago. So it's
Not
like he
only
was
that, he made the what called the that new group. I forgot what called.
New group?
Yeah, remember the group that because of it they abolished the Shishibukai?
I have no idea what that took place in the
Yeah,
Shibukai.
I've been.
The
I don't think
science,
I ever
the science
confirmed.
group. They
I
apparently
believe.
Vegapunk made a group, made something so amazing that
Yes,
they.
something. Yeah. So we don't know exactly what it is. So
Mm,
that they left it very vague.
yeah.
Mhm.
But I think what we also have to remember is that the Pacifistas technically is a combination of technology that Vegapunk clearly was into cyborg. So because we've seen that in his island has all these cyborg animals, but the I think the research into artificial humans that are basically the sort of mass-produced version of Bartholomew Kuma or the Pacifista. That came from the yeah Sanji's family, right? Because they also have their soldiers are also all essentially
The same
you know
thing. Yeah.
clones or grown humans or whatever you want to call them.
Yeah, and that's interesting because is it something that Vegapunk learned from them, or did they learn from him? Did they exchange information? Um, so yeah, that's a little fascinating to like figure out like how who came first and who was doing what. And I get yeah, again, it seemed as though he's aligned with the military, at least to the point where like they go to him and ask him to do stuff. I just don't particularly know if like he's like, yeah, world government, or he's just like whatever, like they let me make things and I'm really into making cyborgs. So I just want to make more cyborgs. And as long as you give me the opportunity to do that, I don't really care.
Mm. What called? Jubei, you here now? Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hey, look who showed up. How are you?
Good. I actually drive in to my job and back home. So
Okay,
that was fun.
welcome. So, you read the chapter?
Yes.
Okay. What's your thoughts on it? Give us
Um.
your full summary of it.
I mean, I don't know how many people actually care for Shanks on like an emotional level, but at least for me, it's just kind of cool to see him pull up. You know what I'm saying? Like, um, I'm more so just trying to figure out what his angle is, just like everybody else. Um, yeah, it was a weird chapter for me. Like I wasn't too crazy.
Interesting. You're not feeling it.
Yeah, I wasn't too crazy about it.
So, let's start them from the beginning. Green Ball fighting against the Scavers and Yamato. What's your thoughts on that?
So, hang on,
Hmm?
hold on.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm getting a call. Hold on.
Okay. Then, while he's doing his stuff, um, what I wanted to say. So, Zero. Oda want to end OP in 3 years. Believable? Or 5 years? More believable? Or more? Because I don't see it 3 years. Zero?
I'm sorry,
Okay.
say it one more time.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're here? Back?
Yeah.
Okay. Oda want to end One Piece in 3 years. You seen that?
That's what I mean. I think I said that before. Maybe I said like 5.
So he said
Um,
3 years, but he also said that he knows that he is not credible because of the amount of time he said something and didn't pan out. So he said three
yeah, I
to
mean, I
five
think
years
3 years
now.
is a good amount of time.
Really? How long did it take to draw Wano? Anyone?
How long did it take? What?
To draw Wano?
Oh, to draw. I mean, I assume most manga. Does he do everything himself?
No. I'm just saying how long did it took him to draw Wano, to finish Wano? From start to finish. How many years?
Oh, I have no clue.
I think
Um,
3 years. Wano. Um, let me look up. Chat. Anyone here? If so, do you guys know how long Nono is?
Yeah, I think about 3 years.
So,
what, 3 years?
Wano.
Dang, Wano has been around for 3 years. That just
Yeah.
feels like a long
This,
time.
this is this is why I don't believe it's impossible. If you're again, remember Kishimoto arc, his fourth ninja war arc was his biggest arc by by far. Am I wrong? I'm not that versed in Naruto when it comes to stuff like that.
Uh, I guess it's the final one, so I guess it would probably make sense that it's the largest. So yeah, sure.
Precisely. So, how you gonna have your next arc not be bigger than your current arc? Especially since it's your final quote unquote saga. This is no longer an arc, it's a saga.
I mean, I guess that all depends on how you plan on ending it.
Precisely, and I feel now he might disappoint a lot of people.
Well, it's actually 4 years.
Yeah, I just looked
Sorry?
2018. You're right. Yeah,
What? Wano is 40 years?
yeah,
Yeah.
Then that's even worse. Your arc is your quote unquote saga is going to be less than your
Yeah,
biggest arc?
but dude, Oda already said like he's terrible at estimating shit. I mean, I
Yeah,
think
I know, which is
I think
why I
a
said,
time ago I think maybe even when he started the time skip after that he said like, oh, it's 5 more years.
yeah,
Could be
yeah,
wrong.
no, I think
Yeah.
we were in the Trosa, he said show is at 20%, at 80%. I remember hearing that comment.
Yeah, look at where we now.
yeah.
Yeah,
But I mean,
so,
now that I'm looking at it, if he follows his formula and this is the last arc kicking off now, then 3 to 4 years is about right because all the other
yeah,
arcs are about 3 to 4 years.
but how big is the voice century going to be? How big is um what's called God Valley incident going to be?
They might not be as big as we want them to be. I mean, personally, I don't think Wano should have taken 4 years. Like, I feel we spent a lot of time in that place, and I was like,
He
oh
did.
boy,
I think
this is dragging. So like,
he
can we speed some things up? So part of it is hopefully stuff like that, like how, for example, we don't need a whole arc declaring that Gold Roger doesn't have a fruit. It's offhandedly mentioned by Kaido, and we're done. Like we
mm,
don't have to discuss that anymore. Like
to be
that question's been answered.
to be fair, that that flashback was needed with Goldie Roger because we never knew anything about him.
But the flashback didn't reveal him not having a fruit. It was Kaido offhandedly mentioning it. That had
Oh,
nothing to do with the flashback. That was just Kaido who flat out told us Gold Roger, strongest man ever, did not have a fruit.
yeah, but the flashback just informed us about Odin. That was mostly in Odin flashback. Gold
Yeah, it's
Roger
an
was
Odin
just
story.
in
Yeah,
it. Yeah,
yeah.
precisely. So,
So,
um, here's the thing. Um, I'm gonna go back to what's called, what do you call that? The anime that I love the most. Um, Maggie. I love Maggie a lot. Shout out to Maggie. The Almatoran arc was cut short, I think. I forgot. I don't I need history. I need it to be written well. Like that, I trust Oda, but when he throws something 3 to 5 years, then I'm starting to panic now. Cause okay, let me ask it as such. And Jubei, when you're done, you can always jump in. Cause I don't know when you're done. Just let me.
I just didn't want to cut you off. That's all. I was letting you.
No, if you're done, just let me know. Cause I still need to know your opinion about the chapter.
Oh yeah. So I thought I honestly I that beginning of that chapter with the whole tree transformation and fucking Momo being basically useless was kind of I thought it was dumb. I'm
I agree.
like you're a fucking dragon and you can't beat a tree, bro. Like get the fuck out of here.
No, 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 no. Now I disagree. Cause Momo is not a fighter. Momo
I know,
might,
but he's acting like he is. I'm like, bro, like
but
I need you.
Momo is a dragon, but he's still a kid. He's still a 13 years old kid. He
I mean, like I said, I did that. I'm like,
not only that, he doesn't have control over his power. It double approach.
even even worse. I'm just like, he could just chill. I don't know why he's jumping in here to possibly get himself into
Because
this.
he is showing what's called bravery. He wanna defend his homeland. But what I don't understand is the people in the background, the people that we, and I say we, I mean the community, we put them on such high pedestal. We say this is top one, this is top two, you call that, this is that, and none of them have observation hockey to realize something is happening. I know music and such, but we're talking about Luffy, the one with foresight, Jinbei, Sanji, the one with the observation hockey, heck, even Zoro, Kid, Law, no one had anything in the background happening. No one saw smoke. No one saw anything. And that's my biggest issue with this chapter. And people can think I'm overreacting, but I'm sorry. I'm not used to Oda being this sloppy. Especially when we're at the end, especially after him taking 4 months, 1 month off. Anyone want to say anything about that? I'm gonna start with Jubei.
Yeah, like I said, I'm just not enthused by a lot of the writing in this chapter.
But
Like,
do you agree? Uh, Other people should have heard what happened and felt what happened, and
I
Chris
mean,
too,
that makes sense. I mean, that's a logical way to think about it, sure.
right? Yeah. Okay, Weeb. I think I know your opinion.
Yeah, I personally have no issue with. I mean, I know you're very critical about Oda. I think it's fine. It's just like I said, I rather have a focused chapter than just going all over the place with what happened here, what happened there. I understand that we need to see that stuff, but normally you'd see that after we properly wrap up the current arc and then move on to the next. So I feel like he may feel like, okay, I need to explain everything at once because I need to rush through things. But seriously, I don't hope that we're getting like now 4 weeks with the Green Bull fight because we have to jump. We have to split every chapter in 3 parts because we have to jump all over the world to see what's happening there. I really hope that's not going to happen.
Zero.
I mean, yeah, I sort of agree halfway. Like, I get there's definitely a glaring, like, where is everybody else? What are they doing? However, I guess that is the question. Where is everybody else? Do we have a sense that where are they? I don't think we have any sense of where they actually are. So I wouldn't be surprised if the next chapter starts with a 1 hour before he shows up, Luffy and them are gone, or doing something else, or just frankly not paying attention because they have a habit of just not paying the hell of attention in mostly anything. Because I still wasn't convinced that Yamato is going to join their crew and sail with them. And I still was thinking they're going to give a way out that Yamato can't go with them, and this seems to be setting up just that. Because it just felt weird that he just pushed himself onto the crew. Like, everybody else has been selected. She was like, "No, I'm coming." I was like, "Yeah, I don't know. Luffy didn't say you can come." So as far as I know, only people on Luffy's crew are people who Luffy said can come. She can be an extended member, part of the Grand Fleet, but you're not part of my crew initially. So this seems like a perfect way to keep her where she is.
Wait, so you don't think she's joining the crew?
I've never been convinced.
Okay, that's an interesting. But what
I feel
about
like
Luffy and the crew not hearing the commotion? Is that
my question is where are they? And what I mean by that is, what if they're already gone?
Oh, now
Because
see,
we keep assuming because Yamato's going to join the crew that they won't leave him. However, once again, Yamato forced himself onto them. Luffy never once said, "I want you on my crew," and he has
but
only ever said that to his crew members.
but we we were seeing them parting, right? When the cabber were talking and they were getting ready to fight.
Yes. So what happened in between then?
But so then
Because then there's a
that
question: where's Law? Where's Kid? Like, where's
precisely
everyone? If
precisely
it's either
that's what
one or
I'm
two
talking
things.
about.
But if they're gone, then they're not seeing this anymore.
But if they're gone, shouldn't there have been 2 hours later?
Which is
Half
why
a,
I just said if the next chapter starts with 2 hours before he showed up, then
yeah,
it's telling us what happened. Because we've seen that happen before. Oda will start a
that
chapter saying, here's what
that
happened before he showed up.
that's fair. That's totally fair. I'm behind you on that. I am going to wait then until the next chapter. If not,
Because
I'm gonna go for your need. Fair?
I'm just not convinced. And I would be exhausted if from this point on, I would love it when it eventually gets animated. It'd be awesome.
You
But
don't
if
want
from
her
this point
to
on,
join?
just just straight battle for 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 battle.
We can't.
That's too like they just got out of a big battle, and as I always said, the samurai need to protect their home.
Yeah, you always stood on that point.
Yes,
So
they couldn't do it with Kaido, so here's their second chance to do it against the world
okay.
government, particularly against a world government member who does not recognize them effectively as people.
So do you think Oda boxed himself in a corner?
I mean, possibly. I mean, he's
Because
flat out said like he's made mistakes before. Like I think the man can be forgiven if he's written 1,000 and plus chapters of this thing, if he's dropped the ball a couple times.
yeah, but I'm talking about they hyped up Green Ball, Mr. Silhouette over here, and then he is fighting a few scabbers and Kaido's quote unquote son.
I mean, that's a pretty formidable force. This is a force of people who took on a Yonko, cut
But
him, lost.
wait, is he an admiral or a vice admiral? So I need to make sure.
He's an admiral, right?
Yeah, that's what. But I think Weeb, you said he is a vice admiral, or am I wrong?
No, I didn't say that. He's an
Oh,
admiral. Zero thought he was unsure
I
if he
think
was
I
give
thought he
me
was
a
a
a
vice.
second.
Yeah, I
Give me a
couldn't. Yes,
second.
I couldn't remember. He's the third admiral, right? Like the one we've been
Yeah.
waiting for. Yeah.
Green ball. Oh my god, why? One piece green ball
So I think it
position.
makes sense that like the Scabbards fight an admiral. That seems like right on their sort of power level type of thing. Depending, Oda did. I think he
So,
made a mistake with the Scabbards anyway, but he seems to be trying to fix it.
okay, so he is an admiral.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, man.
okay, okay. And I need to make sure, cause
Why?
if if he's an admiral, should he not be able to steamroll them?
Mm,
Why?
why? Yeah. We've
Be,
only seen them go up against a Yonko, which
because
again they
if
lost, but like they held out for a little bit.
if this was Kizaru, he would have eviscerated them and called it a day.
But that's sort of the nature of One Piece, though, right? Isn't that just the matchup?
But what we've seen from them that they can do. Okay, so okay, maybe okay. It depends. Is Oda gonna rush this fight?
I hope so. Honestly, I do not want to
Well,
sit around. We just got out of a big one.
I
How
don't
long
mind. Okay, I
is this
don't
going to
mind.
be? Like, I want the plot to move forward, and I don't think a long
I,
fight between
I
the Scabbards and Greenbolt is going to move the plot forward in any meaningful way.
but we have someone that can literally aid you with her hand. She have an advantage over that. She can make his wood almost unimportant,
I
right?
mean, but that's not how One Piece has ever worked. We know that already with Sugar. Because
I
why would
under
Sugar work for anyone if she can turn them all into toys?
I
Like
understand,
we
but this is a
like
fight. Not 1v1. A lot versus one. You don't expect them
Well,
order to do
well,
something.
with Sugar's case, the downside of her fruit was that she stopped aging, so she would always be in the body of a child, so she needed others for protection.
right. Which I understand. Yeah.
But with this one, real talk, Greenball might be in a disadvantage over here.
Wait, what?
Greenball might actually be in a disadvantage because of what's her name? The one that calls himself sexy lady. I forgot what the name is. The one that aged Momonosuke. She has the power to age something. Wait, if you age
She's
a
not a scabbard though, is she?
no, but she is there.
But only the scabbards are fighting.
No, but she is there.
Oh, you have a very good point, Omar, because yeah, that's how One Piece works. Even if there's a power disparity, devil fruits have interesting ways to interact with each other. So I saw with
Precisely.
Nimble Down, Mr. Three was able to stop Magellan's powers, even though everybody else was powerless against him.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, her powers would be the perfect counter because it makes things rot. And what more perfect power could you have against somebody who's essentially a plant human?
Yep.
Well, if we're going to lean into the power thing, then we pull into what exactly does it mean to be a plant human? Because the one thing that plants do is die and be born. Their seeds create new thems. So one, it would probably take a long time to age this plant up anyway, because trees last for a very long time.
Oh, I mean, I'm not sure if she could outright defeat him that way, like him directly, but since his powers are basically just growing trees, right? If you had somebody who would essentially cause them to wither as soon as they appear, then essentially he
Precisely.
had no means to attack.
Also remember, she is not fighting him alone. It's
However, but
multiple
that power
people.
didn't. But didn't that? Wouldn't that have? If that's the case, then once again, I sort of fall back on the sugar argument. Wouldn't that work against anyone,
What do you mean by that?
include including Kaido, who's been enslaving these people for how long now?
No,
Could
no, because it's all
you
about
theoretically age Kaido up to an old man? An older man, he's
no.
already an old man.
Yeah, you can actually do that.
You actually could have done that, right? At any moment during
Yes.
that fight.
No. The thing, because I think um yeah, it's a bit fuzzy because I'd say a hockey plays a role because remember when Law was fighting what's his name, Virgo, where he says like yeah, you can only, your powers, like this ability to split apart people within, within his room power, only works if his hockey is stronger than his opponent. And
Right,
Virgo was confident that he was stronger, therefore it wouldn't work on him. So I
And
think there is a degree there that maybe hockey will protect you, but it's a bit fuzzy because then technically Sugar shouldn't be able to turn any hockey user or powerful hockey user into a toy unless there is a sort of condition where you need to consciously protect yourself in hockey. Yeah,
yeah,
then that would make sense that, like Luffy could be theoretically defeated by Sugar if she touched him and he wasn't aware of her as a threat. Though I'd say that could have been the case during the Dressrosa arc. That
yes,
would not happen now because
correct.
now he has the foresight, so he would have immediately detect her intention and know what she was going to do. So his hockey now, his observation hockey, makes her essentially useless against him because she doesn't have the capabilities to, you know, outspeed him, right, or outrun him to touch him and turn him into a toy. But with this case, yeah, you could theoretically say, maybe he can code his threes into hockey, but I don't think he's doing that. So I'd say probably she couldn't turn him, rot him directly, or cause him to age directly because he could shield himself with hockey. But I'd say that she could definitely nullify his powers in terms of growing trees to attack people. He essentially would be limited in his capabilities to attack. And I say that because that's his greatest power. He can deal with large groups of people because of his ability to grow seemingly infinite numbers of trees that also seem to be able to drain people from turn them into husks, basically. So I'd say that, yeah, if she shows up, she could probably counter his abilities, and then the scabbards would probably be able to, at the very least, chase him away.
See, I lean with you, Weeb, just not as far as where you got. I think that at the end of it, because while powerful, I don't know if it's ever been explained how powerful she really is. And that she's not part of the 9 most powerful samurai here means like she has a very powerful fruit, sort of like Princess Marjorie, right? Like she's quite powerful, but she's not a fighter. That's not what she does. So my thought with that, this admiral, probably yes, hockey plays a big part into it because I doubt Sugar could turn Jack into a toy. He's just
mm,
too powerful for her. She's just out of
yeah,
his league.
because during the roof fight, um, Law said he can't teleport Big Mom and Kaido
Exactly.
because of hockey.
Yes. So I think
So
we
this
hit a
is
nail on the head. It's a level between like hockey user and the power itself. I'd stake my money on the fact that the tree admiral is probably a higher hockey user than she is.
yeah,
So at best, she could probably maybe age the trees that he's throwing out, but he himself, she probably wouldn't even get close enough to do anything to him.
unless she did done it. Um, so here's the thing: if it was 1v1, I would
What is her name?
Shinobi, and now I remember her name. Thank you very much.
There we go, Shinobi.
Um,
Yeah.
If it's 1v1, she would be eviscerated, no question asked. But because it's multiple people, and remember, one of them literally holds the scroll fruit, and no joke, that is OP if you use it right. And most of them are versed in cutting, slicing. We have we have not Kanjiro. We have Danjiro. We have the Kappa dude. Both of them are slicers. I don't know if Kinemon was there. Let me look up the picture to see who exactly is from this cover. Cause uh, it's crazy that they felt it, but how come they felt it? And but this is again. I'm gonna go back. Look, I was with you on the first conversation. What's your name? Zero. That we didn't. They didn't. Uh, we don't know what happened. Maybe Straw had left, but during the what's called during the party. Why the fuck is someone like Denjiro? Let me name them because it's weird. Denjiro, um, Ryzen, Shinobi, um, the Kappa dude, and I think Cat and Dog are there, and you have the Kappa dude. So one, two, three, 4, 5, 6 people are fighting. Then what's her name? You tell me these have better haki than someone like Luffy and Zoro and Sanji? They didn't sense it. You can't
I mean,
tell
it
me
was.
that they were gone because they're not to party all night long, and you can see that they're still partying when they sensed it. So you tell me they have a better sense than someone like Luffy? That's my biggest issue with this chapter. But I'm gonna
But we saw this happen in the last chapter. He
which
arrived on the island the last chapter and started cleaning up Kaido's crew. He got King, he got Queen, he got
yeah,
all of
but
them.
he was far away. But when you have
What's
someone, but
what's
listen,
what's the range?
we don't. But we
We
have.
don't know, right?
Yeah,
What's the range?
I agree with you. We don't know. However, when these people are in the same party, because we know they're in the same party, because it was only one party only, and they sensed him, but the crew, Kid crew, Law crew, none of them sensed him, then something is wrong. I really need the next chapter for them to have left. Otherwise, it makes no sense. But I'm gonna continue. You have 7 people, cause 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you have 8 people, cause Yamato comes in, and then what's his name? Um, Yama, Momonosuke. So 8 people. So we have Raizo, we have Shinobi, we have Cat and Dog, we have Donjiro, and we have the Kappa. And then Yamato came in, and then um, Kaido. I mean um, Momonosuke. So if it was 1v1, my man would have been on the Admiral. But because there are so many, and because they are so versatile, and because there are so many devil fruit, I will not be surprised if they take it. But
I
that,
have no doubt that they will.
but by then, did Oda box himself in a corner? I ask that again because this is weird for hyping up someone like an admiral only to be taken down that is that early. I
Maybe
mean,
that's
by
what I'm confused by. Like, I was he hyped up? He was just the
he
last
was,
admiral of the show.
dude. He was not only hyped up. He wouldn't even let us see him.
I mean, that's
What?
how he does everyone.
Yeah.
When the seven warlords first got introduced, we didn't see all seven. They were silhouetted, and like that's how he literally does everyone.
Okay, but he was the Green Bull. He was the new admiral.
I mean, he's already lost once.
I don't know he lost.
Sabo beat. They just said Sabo beat him
Nah, he fought against what's called Saba with Fujitora. I'm pretty
and
sure.
lost. Like the whole
Yeah,
point was to free Kuma. He freed Kuma, so they
yeah,
lost.
yeah. He lost. He lost. Fair point. Him and what's his
And
name?
Fujitora.
Yeah, Fujitora lost. But according to what's his name, they didn't unleash the true power, which could be an excuse or whatsoever. But a lot
Or
is a
or
lot.
or or I would say do it this way. Use Fujitora as a better example of someone who also was another admiral. I don't know if he was hyped up because Fujitora was practically worthless during Dressrosa.
He was voted for a reason. He
Th-
was not allowed to intervene. He was there, just there as a watcher.
There is
Remember?
a cage about to kill everyone. If
Yeah,
he can't break out of it, and only because he's not supposed to, which he
he was.
himself was going to die,
Yeah, he was not supposed to. He literally
so
was not supposed to.
so he was supposed to die then.
He was. I mean, this is the
He's
same
in the
dude.
cage. If the order is saying you can't do anything even to protect your life, then he's supposed to die.
This is the same dude that removes his own, stabs his own eyes so he can. Yeah, I mean, people do some crazy stuff.
I'm just saying, power wise, I don't see him hyped up any more than Green Bolt, and I find him at this point less useful than Green Bolt.
Interesting. Um. Um. So, Green Ball is taking an L. Can we then all agree on that one? Or do you think Green Ball gonna have a take off his sleeve? And next chapter we see them all decimated.
I mean, I hope he loses. I need the Scabbards to win.
Jubei? Okay. Weeb?
What's the question?
Green Ball takes a W? Or do we see. I mean, the Scapper takes a W? Or do we see the next chapter the Scapper are all decimated? And Green Ball walking away victorious?
I expect Greenville to get his ass kicked.
Okay. Um. So, very quick. Yamato, joining the crew? Yes or no?
Yes.
Zero, you don't think so.
I go no.
Okay. So I'm gonna mention final. Okay. So I have the spoilers for Film Red. I have not read them myself. I've been spoiled for one thing that I know, but I'm not gonna share it. My question for you guys as follow: do you want to be spoiled? Yes or no?
I don't particularly care.
Weep.
I already read them, so I don't mind.
Oh, if you already read them, um, I'm gonna not spoil it. I'm gonna wait until it comes out. And then we're gonna discuss it. What I did want to discuss is as follow. Um, um, two things actually. So this is from. I don't know how involved you are in the community when it comes to the anime, but there is a person called Arthur, Library of O'Hara. Ever heard of him?
Nope.
Okay, so he's a Twitter person that speaks Japanese and translates a lot, and his reviews are meticulously. He pays attention to the millisecond. For example, how a person breathes, what does it mean, and stuff like that. Like uh, in depth, in depth, in depth. So he said as follow: One Piece spoilers have now begun to come out before the scans of the previous chapter have released. What I mean by that is as follows. Normally, Shonen Jump releases every Sunday, I think, Saturday, Sunday. Um, we started getting leaks for this chapter 3 days ago, 4 days ago, something like that. So the situation is getting out of control. So I would appreciate if you read this and provide a follow back. I'm gonna read it right now and we're gonna talk about it. Along and oh shit, that's a long. That's a very, very, very long. What do you guys want? Cause it's really long. It's a long, but I'm gonna cut it then to keep it less so. So the gist of it is apparently Oda is 2 chapters ahead. So then Arthur corrects the person. He said Oda always makes 3 chapters 3 weeks ahead of their releases. Since a lot of things have to happen between Oda completing his manuscript and it being printed and sent through Shonen Jump issues. So one person asks, so does that mean chapters that still in editing process got leaked? So so here is the thing. What are your guys' thoughts on this one? And do you think we're gonna have another a crackdown on what's happening with the leak? Cause this is serious shit. If Oda is already 3 chapters ahead of us, and the next chapter is already being leaked before the previous chapter is officially out, we have a problem. And I would not be surprised if what's called Shueisha uh, Shueisha crack down on this one. What's your thought? Juba, you here? Nope. Then we.
Um, yeah, with my thoughts, I mean, I don't particularly care personally that that gets leaked, but I'd say they do have an issue there. They do have to check out who the hell is leaking that shit. I mean, maybe it's one of the assistants, maybe somebody in the editorial department, but somebody is leaking shit. So yeah, they gotta plug that leak, I guess. But otherwise, I mean, I don't see it as a that of a big deal because in the end, yeah, you get spoiled if you accidentally read those. But I mean, I can get perfectly. I mean, I used to read up on spoilers before the chapter. Now I really don't care. I just read the chapter when it comes out. It's pretty easy to dodge those. So personally, I'm not affected by that. I think it's pretty easy to get around that. And yeah, if it sucks, of course, for the publisher for Oda, but what's the actual damage done? Because all it will do is One Piece gets talked about even more. So bottom line, it doesn't actually hurt him, I think, but they probably want to investigate because it is a breach of confidence, of course, if somebody leaks stuff they're not supposed to. Um, yeah, that probably somebody's going to get fired over this.
Zero.
Yeah, I feel a little bit of the same way. It's not that I don't care. However, like here's what they're saying: the product that I am putting out is being leaked before I can put it out. meaning A, people are not going to be paying for this in the way they should. I don't really have a lot of ground to stand on because I don't pay for it as it is.
Mm-hmm.
So
Me
like
either.
I can't, I can't take a moral high ground. It sucks for them and I hope they get it fixed, but like I already don't pay for his content. So I'm arguably not that much better than the people leaking it, right? Like I don't put any money in their pocket.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a product that they're making. So it's like I hope that they fix this
Mm-hmm.
for their sake. I can't really say anything more than that. Like I can't I don't feel justified in condemning the leaker or whoever they are
Oh,
because like
1 second,
I don't
zero. You're batting. Is he batting, maybe?
know, bro. It's a bit too far away for me to think. Like people make money off this thing. I hope they
Oh, wait, you here? Hello?
either on Reddit or Twitter, all this type of stuff, and if people start like they're prepared for certain stuff and it doesn't come out in the way they're used to that they want to, so I can understand. It's like, come on, let's cut it down. This seems to be relatively new, and I guess there's some practice in how to handle it. So I'm sure they'll get a hold of it quite quickly and get it done.
Gotcha. Um, if if the leaks make it so far that they now crack down on site, I'm pretty sure you're gonna subscribe to Shueisha to read the chapter.
Me, as a internet aficionado, it's very it is very unlikely that I will not be able to find scans of One Piece,
I
one of
feel
the
you.
most popular mangas in the world. There's very little chance I won't be able to find it.
I feel you. Okay, and the final topic, which is going to be very fast, is it's a comment I seen, and it actually made a lot of sense. I shared it. So one person said, if Oda killed off an entire village and then resurrected them all at the end of the arc, he would be slandered for the rest of his career. But Kishimoto got away with that shit scot free. Zero. What's your thought on this one?
What an incredibly petty thing to do. Like, why are we comparing the two? Naruto proper isn't even on anymore. So it's like,
Boruto is, but I mean, there is some truth for that.
I mean, okay, like it. Okay, so if Oda had our 20 episodes where just Luffy and Don Flamingo stare at each other angrily before they fight, he'd probably get crucified for that too. But nobody's bringing up Toriyama in Dragon Ball.
Cause
Like,
you know what
I
they
think,
say about Dragon Ball.
but I mean,
They
I feel
worship
like
that shit.
for easy example, if because I can do the reverse, right? Like one of my huge criticisms of One Piece is that it always seems to follow this particular format. Straw Hats get to a place, insanity ensues, Straw Hats split up, Luffy fights Big Boss, everybody else does their thing, come back together, rinse and repeat. It's fun, I like it. On top of that, the Straw Hats are almost at all times running. Like every almost I can guarantee you if you were just to flip a page on a manga, they'd probably be running. If you just choose one random episode, they'd be running from something, from somewhere, from something. If like Dragon Ball had that, be crucified. If Naruto had that, be crucified. I think every anime has its own little weird idiosyncrasies and
Mm,
things that just make them what they are. Uh, and you accept them regardless. Like everybody's got their issues.
mm,
Um, Like I would say, if personally, I think most people, in my experience, most people tend to agree, but I could be wrong. Um, Early, like the first 100 or so episodes of One Piece, oh boy, is that just a bit of a slog to get through. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely love when they came back and did the East Blue arc and sort of chopped it up and made it fit better. Cause like that's just a long time to just sort of be I'm sort of bored with everything that's happening here. Then it kicks off and it like goes into high gear. But, you know, a lot of shows can't get away with that. If you don't catch me in the first 3 episodes, I'm out.
Interesting.
Like,
So
yeah.
you believe chapter One Piece starts slow?
Yeah. I
Where
think
did
it's always my difficult. Like if I
where did it pick up for you?
CP9, the Water 7.
So not even Arlong is
Nah, like Arlong himself is cool, but I just like Arlong.
not even Alabasta?
Nah.
Clypea, no,
Uh,
none?
no. Once Skype is cool. Alabasta once again, that's just for Crocodile. I actually really don't care for Skypia. I like
Mm.
once again, I like Enel, but everything else was
Mm-hmm.
kind of like whatever. Like once we get to CP9 and Water 7, I'm like, oh, this is awesome because up until then, Rob Lucy versus Luffy was like the best fight One Piece has had.
Mm.
Like solid. Like what a wonderful, wonderful fight. And
Gotcha.
then like I think it gets better because Thriller Bark's after Water 7, right? So I think there's Thriller Bark, which I really
Yeah.
like. Then there's this Impel Down, there's Escape of Impel Down, there's the Execution of Ace. Like then
Before
it like
Impel
hits.
Down, Sabodi.
Oh yeah, the Archipelago, which that's cool because you get to see the other generation. So like that's kind of interesting, and it like it kicks off, and then we kick off into the TS time skip after the death of Ace, like, and that's awesome. I would say it's slow. Personally, Wano might be my least favorite arc of, let's say, the new time skip. I just feel like, and you get
This
we
then.
looked it up, and it was just like I feel like we've been here for so long,
Oh yeah,
and we have. It's
it
been
is
4 years.
4 years.
Yeah, it's been 4 years, and like
Is it worse than Pankrazar?
it's not. Even though, no, I can't. So Punk Hazard would probably be the worst.
Precisely.
Then Wano, because yeah, I didn't care about anything that was happening in Punk Hazard. And as usual, I just like the bosses in the area. I like Caesar. Like Caesar was dope. And then like everything, and but once again, so much, particularly Punk Hazard, so much running. If you watch the anime, there's got to be at least 30 to 20 episodes of just straight running.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, why are you guys always running? And I get there's a narrative reason why they're running, but I was like, oh boy, more running again, guys. That's cool. Like, so you and Dragon Ball, I can just sit and want two people stare at each other, and then a
Mm-hmm.
bunch of people running. But
Would
yeah, that
you rather have fillers?
I mean, One Piece has fillers.
I mean filler. I'm not talking about the small fillers that sometimes happen. One Piece is notorious for stretching out stuff, but an show like Naruto have filler. Would you rather have that than that running?
In yeah, because they're both so yes. And I say because the running doesn't really add much to it. I say yes only because depending on how the filler is structured, you at least get an opportunity to see new things. One Piece I think is now One Piece is I might be harder, but like there's a million and one things you can make a fruit out of. But like
Yep.
to me, every filler is an opportunity to see a new and interesting fruit.
I would disagree because I generally feel like fillers detract from the overall experience because they're made by people who are less talented than the original author of the story, and despite best efforts to probably not contradict the canon, it generally does. I mean, we've seen it with One Piece. You know, the Warship Island arc, right? Dragons were introduced, and then later, as if Oda was literally dissing that arc, he was making Zoro say, "Oh, it's the first time we ever see a dragon." So
Yeah.
that shit never happened. Um, and like with Bleach, for example, I mean they
God.
did put effort in it, but what I
It still
hated
sucked.
about it, yeah, I know. But what I hated about it is that, like I don't know, I think it was the Bound arc or whatever, where they had these characters that were like, I think they were stuffed toys or something. They were so fucking annoying, and they played a part in
Are
the
you
actual
talking about
canon arc.
the Zanpakuto?
No. I know but there was these people. The only one who stands out to me is the little boy who had like the Game Boy. He had like a Game Gear, and that was
Oh,
like his
you're
totem of
talking about
power.
that arc. Okay,
But
gotcha.
yes, but Weeb's right. Like apparently they were filler until like right up to the end, and then they weren't. And I was like, wait,
Yeah,
what?
To be fair, sometimes some fillers are amazing. Like if you look at the fight that Naruto had with the Jinchurikis, for almost he almost had a fight with all of the Jinchurikis, right?
with
Uh,
what?
uh,
No.
he,
Some are captured before he gets to fight them.
but
But
some,
we get to see them in action. We get to see all of them in
yeah, we
action.
got to see all of them in action, and some
Yeah.
of them even were with Naruto. He
Yeah.
either helped them or fought them.
Yeah.
So fillers sometimes are canon material. Like for example, G8 art. No matter how much we
No. They're not canon. That's a bit clear. Even if you want them to, or even if you think it
G,
fits,
I'm
they're
about to
not
say
canon.
G8 arc. As much as it's not canon, it was made so much that it's believable that it's canon.
I don't, because the problem is, if you compare this to what happened before and the arc that follows it, it's an extremely low stakes arc. That's kind of the problem with a lot of these filler arcs with One Piece, is that, and to be fair, I appreciate how One Piece does fillers that are generally very short arcs that don't distract too much from the overall story. But when they're trying to do something like a little longer, and even if it as own might be entertaining, the problem is that it doesn't quite fit in the overall story, because the stakes are just too low. They can't go as far as they would go if it was canon, because there is no extravagant villain or with incredible powers, or any sort of meaningful development in terms of character, to their abilities they have, uh, furthering the plot, furthering the world building. None of that actually happens in these arcs, because they can't, because they don't want to create a paradox or inconsistency that will never make sense going forward, right? I mean, and yes, I mentioned the dragon, but that's kind of trivial compared to if you were to introduce something that would have a change. Like if you somehow, for example, a filler arc where you make up your own explanation of where devil fruits come from, and which completely contradicts the actual origin that we still don't know yet. That
But
will be a problem.
most fillers are spoken with Oda before are
No,
done.
no, 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 no. You're
Am I wrong?
yes, yes, you're wrong in the sense that Oda doesn't know the entire um, uh, plan for that, but what they check with him is particular devil fruit. Like, okay, are you planning to use this devil fruit? We're going to use this devil fruit. Are you planning to use this for any future character you haven't introduced yet? That's what they check with him. But other than that, they're kind of free to do what they want. Uh, but
they will obviously restrain themselves because they have to, because a filler arc cannot exceed the canon content because it would distract from it. If there was something huge happening that had profound impact on the world going forward, and then the next arc is the canon arc from the manga, and that completely ignores those events, yeah, that doesn't work. That doesn't work for a cohesive story. So that's the inherent problem with fillers is that generally, if they have they always have to be restrained, uh, and that's why they're fillers. They are essentially there to pad the time, and sure, I would agree with you that the way that One Piece does things by stretching episodes isn't desirable either. I mean, it's more manageable if you binge watch it and not one episode at a time, because if you watch one episode at a time, you get frustrated for, okay, I just, essentially had like 50 minutes in this 25, 30 minutes episode actually new content, and the rest was just filler or flashbacks or a recap, whatever, right? That has been the problem with One Piece for the longest, and the problem comes from the fact that and I'm glad that a lot of anime are have changed that they stopped this serialized format where they have to keep on making episodes and never take a break. I like the seasons approach of that a lot of other manga and light novels are getting these days, where they just, okay, look, we're going to make a season, and later this year or next year, you're going to get season two. Uh, we are just going to stick to the canon story. We're focusing on getting you the authentic experience, and it looks better for it. Right? It will have higher production values because you can spend more budget on making it look good instead of having to stretch that over an infinite number of episodes. But they're never going to change it, of course, because they can't. I mean, they're now stuck with this. The network's never going to let them. Yeah, look, next season we're going to actually change to the seasonal format, so you're only going to get like 12 episodes or 24, whatever. And then we're going to take a break and take our time to make the next season, and we're going to come back to you. That's never going to happen. They're stuck with this, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, uh, like I said, fillers to me are a distraction, and they're the only fillers that I actually where I say in anime is actually was enhanced by that was the 1999 Hunter x Hunter series. It had a couple of fillers in there in the early arcs that actually fleshed out the characters better than the original manga did. Especially the introduction to the main characters, and there was also I think, arc, an extra exam in the Hunter exam arc, where they all had to work together, and that preceded the arc where they had to start hunting each other, and that actually worked really well because it was really jarring that they sort of created a bond, and then they actually had to quite literally, potentially kill each other, and that's a great addition to uh, where you can use fillers to actually expand the story. But overall, especially with these where fillers essentially are there for the specific purpose to pad time, yeah, I'm not a fan of those.
Gotcha. As for me, I enjoy fillers, and here's the thing. I'm pretty sure people are gonna disagree with that, but One Piece have always set itself to be an adventure manga, right? Am I right or wrong?
Yeah,
Yeah.
pirate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. When the filler happened, when the crew flag got stolen, that was a filler. But if you put canon and filler aside, doesn't this fit the One Piece theme? Adventure? It's
Mm,
It does.
it's
Yeah.
all about the placement, eh? Like for example, even One Piece is notorious for doing this. If you're in mid of an arc and all of a sudden you give us a three episode what's called filler, then it's gonna be daunting and stuff like that. Like they did it. If you remember the Water Seven, the beloved Water Seven arc, it had not Water Seven, but Impel Down, not Impel Down. Water Seven when they went to what's called the marine base. I mean the what's called the marine base, and when they went there and Luffy was standing on the top and he had a flashback of every single character had a flashback of their history, where they came from. And then I think it was an episode or three or six, I forgot exactly how long. And that was daunting and irritating because it was not needed. But for example, uh, an arc like the one that they did with Bartolomeo and his friend Desire, I enjoyed it. It's a filler arc that you can get with it, whether fast or not. I'm glad that people are doing something, which again we see something interesting. Luffy turning into almost like a giant, which foreshadows what we're seeing right now. Or, for example, just the Foxy arc. I love that arc because I love stupid, wacky stuff. That's what we want. We watch and read One Piece. It's not for the plot only, because 80% is not plot. 80% is just adventure and wacky stuff and jokes. Am I wrong with this one?
No, I think to Weep's point, it's cool if it's good.
Yeah, I agree.
Because there are a lot of bad filler out there
I agree.
that just drag on or are boring. But like there are definitely a lot. Well, I mean, I always equate them to American comics have like the what if tales. So it's not the main story. It's just like what if this did something different than what we're used to. And so I always enjoy them because they don't matter in the grand scheme of things. They don't affect the story in any meaningful way. They can't. Um, and so it's just an opportunity to like do something interesting or just do something. Just have something fun. For things like for shonen anime that have characters like Naruto and One Piece or Fairy Tail, people with a whole host of powers. I just like to see different powers happening. So if One Piece wants, like I don't, we would never see the slow fruit in One Piece normally. I probably just wouldn't see it. Like there's no reason to have it here. But like I like seeing it there, and it doesn't add or detract anything outside of like it just makes the episode count much longer. So I do get that, but that's hopefully when One Piece is all said and done, there's a sort of One Piece Kai where they cut all the filler, all the fluff, and get straight to like, which I guess maybe would slim it down to maybe 600 or so episodes of like One Piece straight through. None of that extra stuff. You don't need to watch any of that. That's dumb. Ignore it and just like watch the straight up. But everything else is just like, yeah, it's cool.
there,
Some
there-
are definitely
there's
hit and
already
miss.
there already is a fan cut of One Piece. I forgot what it's called, but where they cut out all the filler.
One
Uh,
Yeah.
Piece, right?
One Piece exactly.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah.
which makes the whole Cake Island arc a lot more digestible. Uh, but it doesn't quite work for arcs that came before it because they have a tendency to cut everything that's filler,
Mhm.
uh, but that also includes stuff that actually are necessary when you adapt it into an anime format, right? Where in the manga you sometimes have a character that's in one panel they're like to the right of the room, and in the next panel they are suddenly to the far left of that room,
Mhm.
and there's no you don't see them walking there. that works in the manga because there's no movement, but that doesn't work in anime because you're like, hold on a second, the character was just there like a second
Yeah,
ago. How did they get there? That's why you need to animate the walking animation or see them move there. And if you cut that, then yeah, you can't really make heads or tails of because there's too much things that you have to pay attention to in an anime because there's sound, there's voice acting, moving images. So yeah, that's where they sort of kind of went overboard. So yeah, I hope there's going to be one, but probably yeah, that's kind of the issue with One Piece is that because of their approach to stretch um, episodes, right, to essentially reduce the chapter count of every episode to like one if you're lucky.
yeah,
Uh, yeah, it's kind of hard to cut that down because you will inevitably cut stuff out that's actually necessary for the story to flow.
yeah. That I leave it up to them, then the very smart folks over at whoever does the Kai versions of whatever anime they're doing, to like make that work. Because you're right, the fan edits are they're designed to be just like what's important. You don't need to worry about this. Like, well, I mean, if I want to watch a whole picture of a thing that makes sense, not just like bits and pieces that you think are important to the overall plot. Like, I want to watch a nice, well told story. Don't keep making me skip pages because like, oh, well, this page was like, well, at least on page 6, most of it was nonsense except for that one part where it did explain something. And so yeah, I agree. Like if I got to animate this 15 seconds of walking, I can't skip that episode because then otherwise it sits out of place with everything there. So I who knows how long it will take them to actually make it if they even make it. I think was Dragon Ball like the first? They couldn't have been the first, but they had to be the most popular to do it, right?
Yeah, the issue I had with Kai was that because they re-recorded all the voice tracks that like especially Goku, the voice actress, she got old, right? And you can hear
Yeah,
that. So that it just doesn't feel the same way as the original performances. I rather uh, would have liked them to just use original voice tracks, but I guess because they're quite old, that it yeah it would be jarring. Like you have new animation, and then it sounds like you have a like a soundtrack or voice track is coming from the 70s or whatever, right? Uh, Preferably. And I know Dragon Ball didn't launch in the 70s. But yeah. By the way, let's be clear. I don't hate all fillers of One Piece. I actually think there are a few, including the much maligned Warship Island arc, actually is pretty good if you just judge it on its own merits because it does have it is funny, which is an issue you have with One Piece because it's a perfect balance between serious moments and funny moments, and it has peak comedy. If you don't get that, if you do a poor job at that, yeah, it basically just falls flat. And I actually thought that Warship Island had funny moments where I said, okay, yeah, that's actually pretty clever. There's actually people who have some great comedic timing who wrote this. So there was some effort put into that. So I appreciate that. And uh, other than that, I like the how they expanded Ace's role in Alabasta because literally in the manga he just shows up and like leaves almost immediately after taking down the bounty hunters, and then he's gone. Like here, you actually get some more quality time with him, which I appreciate, especially how he ends up with in the end. That you still had some because it actually makes also more sense how the crew responded to the news because they barely knew him in the manga and
yes,
only as Luffy's brother. And there they had more time to get to know him, and that makes more sense that they actually had those feelings, that sadness that he was gone. if you take into account the anime. So yeah,
Yeah,
there are really some great points to some of the fillers. That's a creative decision that even though it probably was because we need to pad some time because they were probably very close to the manga at the point in time. It was a good decision to say, okay, let's do this. Let's include Ace here instead of just making some, just have him leave and just then just do the regular bullshit and just make some meaningless filler stories with the main crew.
yeah, and I agree because it changes it from now they lost Ace the friend, as opposed where the manga reads is like they lost Ace, our captain's brother. So realistically,
Yeah.
we kind of didn't lose anything. Luffy lost everything. So like this stuff like
Mm.
that helps to be like, oh no, we all liked Ace. He was a cool dude, and like I cannot believe he died. As opposed to like, oh dang, that sucks. Luffy's brother. Luffy's gonna be upset
This
and just move
remind
on
me
from
with
there.
Atoma. Basically the
What?
same, eh? Ace
Who?
remind me with Atoma.
Oh, actually, it does a little bit. Yeah, you get a look when there's fillers where you get to spend a bit more time with Asuma, so you get to see just why it hurts so bad when he
And
dies.
Jiraiya.
Yeah.
Basically the
Oh,
same.
although we spend enough time with Jiraiya, but
Yeah.
because I liked Asuma, and I was like, why
Okay,
did he have to die?
remember, okay, so we talk about fillers. Were you guys aware? Okay, so was there any filler in Arabasta? Yes or no?
Yes, I just mentioned them.
So were you guys aware when it happened?
Dude, I just talked about those, Omar. Were you not paying attention? Were
No, I
you
was paying
asleep?
attention, but I genuinely missed that. Sorry about that.
And usually, yeah, because I mean, depending on how you approach One Piece, I'm assuming for the three of us or four of us,
How?
we
I
because we
truly.
read, but we read the manga first.
Oh, that explains it. Now you guys
No,
cheating. Now
hold on.
you guys
To be
cheating
fair,
then.
I actually was watching the anime at that point in time,
Hmm.
and just
Before,
continued before
before
I
reading
started
the
read the
manga.
manga. Before
So
I read the
how?
manga, so the
So how did you know it's filler? Cause it felt
but
adventurous.
but eventually, because you knew it was filler because these were very small self-contained stories within an overall arc that didn't really move the plot along. So you knew these stories didn't fit with the overall arc and was going was everything else just moved the plot along. Everything else was like, okay, yeah, we have the looming threat of the rebels clashing with the royal guard, Crocodile's plan unfolding. Uh, uh, everything was, you know, everything that was canon was constantly reminding you of that, and these short arcs were not. But
Got
I
it.
do have to, but I do have to admit, like the only thing that the fact that they included Ace was a golden move, not just because I explained that gave us more time to bond with him, but yeah, that does make you uh, question whether these were because I can understand that you didn't know they were filler because of they just include a major character, and while I knew had the feeling they were fillers, I didn't know that Ace's appearance was so brief in the manga. I did expect him to actually some parts of that, like when they were running or whatever together, and that looked really good, but that also was apparently filler. So I was
Wait,
kind of surprised.
Luffy and Ace fighting together was filler?
They're part of that when they were sort of running together.
And
I
fighting
think
the enemies, that's filler?
I
Wow.
think I think the only thing that is canon is that he, yeah, when he was in the restaurant, right, when he fell asleep and thought they died, and then so when Luffy finally when he was chased by Smoker and they finally met him and eventually basically just used his fire fist to destroy that fleet of ships
that was threatening them. But that's it. Everything in between, the whole trip to the through the desert and with the uh, uh, um, the sand pirates and the guy he thought maybe was Blackbeard. Uh, you know that all is filler.
Did you enjoy them?
I actually did because I enjoyed
Ace.
spending more time with Ace.
Okay. Did you enjoy the filler when it comes to Aqua Laguna after the aftermath of Aqua Laguna?
No, I
Okay.
didn't. They felt meaningless to me. Uh, that's kind of, I mean, like you said, the time where you place them matters, right? Well, I'd say for the Alabasta arc, certainly you could argue, okay, this is kind of distraction because we're trying to save this country from impending doom, but uh, based the fact that they were essentially running around the entire country, it does make sense, or it doesn't feel that awkward that they had some stops in between. But for Aqua Laguna, was like, okay, okay, you were talking about the ones that happened. Are you talking about the ones that happened after the Enies Lobby arc or
Yeah, after
before?
Naitabi, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because those like, okay, why should I care about this? We're right now. We just had a very emotional arc. And there's some setup like, okay, now we'll get some revelations and some setup for some world building and setup for the next arc, and you can distract me with what was like with a girl
But
that
I have
that
a question. How is it
yeah,
distracting when it's literally following Sanji world dream?
uh, which one are you talking about, Aqua
Cause
Laguna
the
or
Cause the Aqua Laguna is all focused centered about Sanji all blue, which they mentioned all blue at
yeah
the end. And
yeah
for
okay but
example, the Kabouterman, when we had one with what's called with G8 art that was centered around the Mary. So they find ways to interject fillers with dreams and just important. Like this is why I truly you're very better than me when comes. You're way more better than me when it comes to noticing fillers. Because to me, it felt like that. Was this just Sanji's dream? And he's learning more about it. Good, great. As with what called with the whole Kabouterman. You remember what Kabouterman is?
Kabouterman, yeah.
Yeah, with Kabouterman, it's part of the Mary and it's part of what's his name? Usopp story. So it actually adds up to it, in my opinion. But that's just
It,
me.
yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying, and I agree that it's consistent. But it's just like, you know, you don't necessarily need that, and it depends on where you place it because the GA arc was definitely placed correctly because it was right in between the start of a major new saga and the end of the last one. Um, but it's to be it feels fillery because it doesn't actually do anything. It doesn't reveal anything new. It doesn't have really high stakes. It feels like a yeah, basically like a holiday they're taking in between. And the thing is, that's not necessarily bad either because I say if you want to do filler, right? Because I think the biggest mistake you can make with fillers is that you take it too seriously and you up the stakes too high.
like they did with Bleach, and I think also partially with Naruto, where it will inevitably be worse than the actual canon stuff, because you're not interested when you well, unless you can tell a difference, but you're not interested in seeing your main protagonist fighting against you know anime only villains that are clearly inferior versions of the original manga villains, uh, and they will inevitably be more poorly written because they don't have the time to establish those characters. You don't you know, and they weren't planned for. So they will always be a bit jarring to how you fit them into the overall story. So I'd say One Piece has the right idea there to say, look, we're not going to do, you know, take it too seriously. Like we're not gonna force our main characters to push themselves to the limit as if they're because that's always going to be the problem if you introduce a character that's so powerful that they challenge our main characters, and then we move on to the next arc, and like nobody's ever going to mention them. But imagine this happening right now, when they're so powerful. Like imagine Luffy fighting a filler, a villain, when he's a Yonko. I mean, and nobody will ever mention that character again. I mean, somebody who can fight against a Yonko level opponent should be like on all the wanted lists in the world, right? And
Hmm.
that's kind of thing where you do have to be careful if you with taking it too seriously because you're going to run into those inconsistencies, and either you have to pretend then, okay, for some reason we're never going to mention that character again, or you have to mention that character occasionally to make sure that that feels consistent, but then you're going to muddy the canon because you might eventually run into a problem. Okay, yeah, look, we have all these powers, but yeah, okay, why is nobody ever mentioning that there are characters that are as powerful as Yonko around that essentially should also be on the radar of the world government? They should have a role
Hmm.
in shaping how the world works. So yeah, that's a kind of issue. You can run into with fillers, but again, I agree that One Piece does them quite well. I noticed them because of the way they're structured and how
You're
the general
amazing
playing
at
field.
noticing them, cause I didn't. I never, I knew I never knew that something canon and filler was until much later, and I always
Mhm.
was mind blown that G8 arc was canon filler.
Yeah, but again, what the One Piece anime does that quite well by restraining themselves, but also making sure it fits within the tone, right? A
But
lot of these
there are few fillers that they doesn't though. If you remember one filler, they literally teleport them to Edo period.
Yeah, okay, but that's literally that's not supposed to take place within the continuity of One Piece. That's sort of a special, right? So that
Oh, was
doesn't
that
really
special? I
count.
had no idea. I thought it was just filler.
I think they had, yeah, I think they had multiple of those. I think there was a special and also some filler episodes. But the thing is, like, you're not supposed to. It's not like they suddenly, for some reason, turned into went in back in time into the Edo period, right? This is supposed to be, like Zero said, like this what if story, right?
Yeah, okay, I gotcha.
It doesn't fit in the overall narrative.
Well, as long Luffy is singing, I'm always down for a filler. I love Luffy's song. Do you guys as
That
well or
song,
no?
that song is not filler. That's canon.
I know, but I love it, and I sing it in filler and canon material. So I always enjoy it. Weep, not to spoil anything, but did they reveal anything interesting about Shanks in the movie?
Well, I just read the spoilers, so I don't know if they're legitimate. But it's not nothing very interesting. They reveal
Wow.
uh, something, but I'm not going to tell you what it is. But as far as I know, you'll probably, unless they're going to reference the movie in the manga, you're probably not going to miss out on anything if you don't see it.
Wow. So this entire movie is basically filler?
Well, I say it's probably canon because of how Oda is involved with this. This does feel like this is sort of like the Strong World is technically canon because of Shiki, because yeah, being mentioned in the manga. And I'm sure they're going to mention Uta also in the manga at some point. But uh, yeah, I mean, we have to wait and see. But based on what I've read from the fillers, I don't think there's going to be any world-shaking events that somehow change everything in the manga.
Okay, so Uta is canon, but the event is filler. Gotcha. Shame. I was expecting
Oh
it
no,
to.
I didn't say it's filler. I mean,
No,
I
I
still
said
think it.
Uta
Yeah.
is canon, but the event that happened is filler. Cause Luffy is
Yeah.
not gonna meet Uta in the manga.
Well, if you well, okay, yeah, technically you could argue filler is not necessarily non-canon, but that would be a canon filler because I would expect them to acknowledge the events of the movie to be have happened, but not necessarily explicitly referring to them. Like Strong World is also never explicitly referred to in the manga. It's just Shiki is referred to in the manga.
Yeah, that's why I say the event that happened with Stronghold is filler, but Shiki as a person is canon. That's basically it. Which basically now the same with Uta. Uta as a character is canon, but Luffy meeting Uta is filler. You get me?
Okay, I gotta go for a minute.
Okay. I'm actually gonna close it uh, down. Jubei, you alive? Nope. He is AFK. Zero. We're
Yes,
gonna
sir.
talk. You got time? We're gonna talk a bit gaming related.
Exactly.
Gaming. No, I have to head out soon.
Okay. Then we'll talk about it on BGP. I'm playing Nobody Saves the World,
Oh, fun
and
game.
Really good game.
I unlocked every single character except for the dragon.
Find them
The
eggs.
dragon's nice too.
I'm
Yeah.
level 50. So far, the most broken characters are two: the Necromancer and the Ghost.
Yep,
I hate
I
the
believe I agree. I 100% agree with that.
Um, the Necromancer is so broken that I can't even die with them.
Yep,
If you
it is.
give,
It's
if you
pretty much
put
easy mode.
the, if you put the Necromancer and you give him zombies, it's over.
Yep.
He is so broken, dude. You don't even need to fight. Just your zombies is gonna tear the shit down.
Yep.
Okay. Any final thoughts when you want to talk about the ending of chapter? Cause I didn't hear anything from you. Also, Zero, feel free to leave because I want to hear Jubei's final thoughts and then we're gonna close it. But I think you need to leave, right?
Yeah, gotcha, guys.
So go ahead, do your outro. Where people can find you.
As always, guys, absolute blast to chat and talk about anime and all things nerdy. Zero.exe pretty much everywhere. And Mondays, Vitamin G. With
Yay!
my other two panel members, Omar and Jube.
This
See you guys next Friday.
Yeah, this was a great conversation. Shout out to you for coming through. See you. Jubei, what do you think happened to Vivi? Who took her? Him
What do you
or
think happened?
the revolutionary?
Uh,
Or or did she go to Arabasta? What?
I I don't know.
Fuck you, you're boring. Okay, then what's your thoughts on Sabo being more respected and more hyped up than Dragon?
I mean it's fitting,
Do you think a power struggle gonna happen?
possibly.
Okay.
I mean, as long as the writing isn't ham-fisted, we'll be okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to speculate on anything because I don't want to get my hopes up and then be
Oh
disappointed.
yeah, fair point. We've seen it with today's chapter. Okay,
Yeah,
if you would rate today's
exactly.
chapter, how much would you give it out of 10?
Out of 10, I'd give it a 6, to be honest.
Oh, 6. I give it between 7, 7.5, something like that. I enjoyed it, but
I,
it was not
I,
that.
I might up it up to a 7,
I
maybe. Getting like strong 6, like
Originally you think it's amazing, but when you break it down, then you start noticing some holes in it.
yep.
Okay, Weep, you back? Then I'm just gonna shut it down. Jube, where people can find you?
Yeah, you can find me at Jubei X Sensei on gaming platforms, Jubei Sensei. Um, yeah, I will be playing Multiverses starting tonight. I
You on that?
I will be on that starting tonight and on that really heavy Sunday before Monday show.
Did you play
Um,
Power Wash?
I did not. I have it downloaded. Like I haven't really touched my Xbox in like 2 weeks, to be honest, just because I've
Mm-hmm.
been playing a lot of Master Duel on my PC, and I also played actual Yu-Gi-Oh at my local card store on Wednesday and came in third. So I'm gonna start
Gotcha, gotcha,
committing
gotcha.
some time to that, so I can see if I
Weeb,
can get a qualifier for regionals.
Yeah.
Weeb, you here? You back? Where people can find
I'm right,
you?
on my couch.
I hate you.
I know. I love you too. You can find me on Twitter as the Weep Sheriff at Infinite Rhizome and on YouTube as Blue Rhizome, unless I change my name there too to Weep Sheriff. But honestly, I wouldn't know.
Shout out to everyone that came through. Shout out to Zero that came through. Shout out to the panel members, Weeb, Jube. And yeah, see you next week. I'm curious how the chapter is gonna be.